Hey everyone, it's Mike here at Global Voodoo, and in this video I'm going to actually take you with me while I go to a book sale. But while we're going to the book sale, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on what to look for, what to do when it comes to going to a book sale, especially when you're looking to get books for Amazon FBA or maybe even for your own personal collection. So let's go. You ready? Let's go. I love going to book sales because I always find profitable items to flip on Amazon FBA, and well, I'm a treasure junkie. You just never know what you might find, especially if you read books. Now here are some tips you should know before you go. Now make sure you eat something before you go. You never know how long you'll be there, and the worst thing you can do is run around and sit there for hours on an empty stomach. Now if you're using a phone, make sure your phone is fully charged. I would recommend getting a Mophie battery charger. My iPhone will last roughly about 5 straight hours of scanning when I have this device hooked up to my iPhone. Make sure you have a dolly or something to transport the books back to your vehicle. I also carry a backpack to store books in because I always end up getting a lot, so I will make a little pile near the checkout. And then I will fill my bag up with books, and once it fills, I will drop them off. Nobody wants to hump around a ton of books when scanning. Make sure to bring something to drink, and if you are there for extended time, take breaks. No need to wear yourself out because if you score some great books, you need to have some energy to load them in the car. Try to find out if they have preview times or certain time for VIPs days before the event starts. Get there early, as you know the early bird will get the worm for sure. Now once I arrive at a book sale, I like the case to join out by doing a quick walk around before I start to hit areas. That way I can see if anyone else is scanning, but also to find out if the books are organized. Areas I like to scan are the vintage, rare collectible areas, media areas such as DVDs, CDs, VHS, LP records, history sections, education, how-to, poetry, art, health, westerns, foreign, cookbooks. By no means is this a complete list because there are so many opportunities if the sale is organized, and there's so many different categories with books, but this was just to mention a few here. Now, if you're at a sale that is running multiple days, always ask if there are any deals the last day. Most I've been to will have a fill-a-bag sale for about $1 a bag on the last day, and that's when you can really pick up some awesome books for pennies on the dollar. Get to know the people running these sales and always ask if they know of any upcoming sales or where to find sales, and if they have a Facebook or a web page that you can go and visit. Maybe even an email list. Another tip I like to do before I check out, especially when I have a lot of books, is to ask if I can get a discount for buying so many. You'd be surprised how many times I get discounts just for asking. Another tip I use when scouting is I bring my wife Kim with me, and she'll always ask if there's any discount for teachers. Bam! There usually is. Hey, keep this between me and you, but even though I don't teach in a class, I am a teacher, right? Okay, you have the basics now. Overall, this sale was slightly picked over because they had an event the night before where they sold almost $7,000 worth of books, so I assumed that somebody there was scanning at some point. But I was still able to find some books at great prices that I can sell on Amazon FBA and for me to keep in my personal collection. Ready to see what I got? Alright, so I'm going to show you just some of the books that I picked up from the sale here. I got a bunch here, but the video would go on and on for days, but I wanted to pull out some of the stuff that I think is interesting. Now, I found some stuff here for Amazon FBA, I found some stuff for me personally, and I also found some stuff that is good, even though it's not profitable to sell on Amazon, it's good for local Facebook groups or antique malls or flea markets, stuff like that, where you can charge $5 to $10 and people would buy it just because of the subject matter. But yeah, so this one here, this one's kind of neat. It's The Fabulous Century. This book here, I mean, it dates back from 1930 to 1940, kind of a reference and historical aspect of really like the Great Depression and everything like that. I mean, here, look at this picture here. It's pretty amazing. Just really great content in some of these books, and there's some really neat stuff. So, some of this stuff I'm going to hold on to, take a gander through it, but, obviously the whole point of me going was to find some profitable items, which we did. So, there's that one there. Here's, kind of another cool book here. This one, I mean, some of these are in excellent condition, as you can see here. This is The Masters of Starlight. photography in Hollywood, and I mean here you got Walt Disney, just some really neat stuff here. So here's one here, kind of got this looking at modern paintings guide, which is pretty cool. Got all these different artists and explain the art, stuff like that. What do we get here? I always like grabbing World War II stuff. They sell great on lots on eBay, especially if it's books that don't do well on Amazon. They also do well, again, like I said, at flea markets and antique booths, stuff like that. But here's a World War II Bombers over Japan. Set these down. I got some heavy ones here, guys. You know, here's another one, Museum of American Folk Art, Encyclopedia of the 20th Century Americans Folk Art and Artists. So this is something I'm going to go over and fill my brain with some info, and you know, kind of just put these images in my head. So if I'm ever out and about, you know, and I see something, I'm like, hey, that's you know, folk art, or what this is, what it is, what they're talking about. That one here, we got another one here. It's kind of like a history book. It's We the Americans, just kind of a complete history of the United States and National Geographic Society. A lot of these you'll find they're not worth much on Amazon, but again, they're good. You know, I could easily sell this for $5 to $10 to somebody. You know. All right, here we go. I'm gonna show you. Here's a book here, guys. It's a Van Gogh, like, reference book here. This is a really nice book, and I mean, it's just these big reference books. Some of them you got to be careful looking through them, but they. I mean, gosh, it's just, the quality is just amazing, and the thing weighs like 10 pounds, but just totally cool. So snagged that one. Got another Van Gogh book. Actually, the lady was fighting me over these. She's like, "You took all the art books." I'm like, "Yes, I did." Yes, I did. But you know, it's good to look through these, because you know what? You never know if you see a Van Gogh at a thrift store, right, or a flea market or whatever. I mean, you know, it's just like, here, would you even know, like, if this was at a thrift store? You know what I mean? If you do, then you know you're Van Gogh, right? Well, here's a good book here. This should sell for anywhere from $10 to $15 on Amazon FBA. It's a book by Jeff Wall, and pretty recent book here. Let's look at the price tag on it. $40. The let's see, anything cool in here? Looks like it's just some photography. International landscaping, pictures, pretty cool stuff. Here's another one. It's like a $10 to $15 book. Gay America, Struggle for Equality. You know, they've got the hard times, just like a history on, you know, gay America, pretty much. And you know, this type of stuff sells. So look at anything like homosexual or gay interest stuff. It's a lot of times they're really good sellers. What else did I get? Yeah, here's another one. Something I'm gonna, you know, it's a small book. I'm gonna browse through this and see if I can gain any info out of it. But it's iSims. This does okay on Amazon, but it breaks down all the different periods for fashion, which is really neat. You know, the new look and bloomerism. What else they got in here? The birth of couture. I'm in here, you know, just all this high-end fashion stuff. Let's see. Where is anything here? Yuppieism. Check that out. So, good little way to identify the periods with clothing, and it's good to kind of see what kind of tips they're doing, and some stuff to read about that maybe when you're out in the thrift stores you can identify some of the stuff. So let's see. Got one here. You know, again, it's another reference book for American bottles. This is good, you know, for us pickers, resellers that are out there. I mean, it gives you a breakdown on what kind of bottles to look for, blah, 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 blah. And so there's some history on the bottles, which is really neat. That should do pretty well. And here, since I'm a big t-shirt person, you know, saw this book and I just said, okay, I gotta grab it. T-shirt makeover. I really didn't even open it up or nothing yet, but rock star dress. How to make a rock star dress with a vintage t-shirt. It's almost like destroying it, like when they make the quilts, right? But pretty cool stuff. We'll give it a gander. Good stuff when you're on the toilet, right? Anyway, all right. Yeah, there was. I probably got 400 or 500 books. I spent a total of, I want to say, close to $100 for everything. And there's a bunch of books. And you know, when I'm done with the video here, I'm going to put in piles. You know, Amazon. Here, there's eBay, or here's locally, stuff like that. But I also pick up a lot of these inspirational type audio books, right? And even though some of these might not do very well on Amazon FBA, they do well on eBay when you line them up and if you get a lot of them together. So I like to listen to ones. I mean, here's you know, when I'm working and stuff like that, I'll throw one in, or when I'm driving, I'll throw it in the car. But here's a good one here: Think and Grow Rich in a Minute, the very best of Napoleon Hill. So you gotta love these audio CD books. And here's one here: 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People. I'm pretty sure I've burned through that one, but hey, you never know. Let's spin it again. And this one's a good one here, guys. Brian Tracy, Goals. Create those goals, people. So there's that, and then there was a bunch of old paper and pamphlets and a lot of school stuff. This was the local town's public library sale. So I got a bunch of really interesting American Indian like pamphlets, right? And the history of Indians. Like here's one here, American Indian Dances, like cut and color book. All right, nothing too crazy with it. I mean, it's just like it looks like when it was given out in school. But it's got some pretty cool stuff in there. I don't know if you can see that there. Let me see if we can get that a little closer. No, that didn't make a difference. But that's pretty cool. And excuse me, I got this one here. It's Indian History of New York State Part 2. About the tribes in, looks like Albany, New York, which is interesting. This little book here, and you know, they break it down, maps and stuff like that. You know, living on the Southwest here, this is all new to me. So a lot of the Indian type stuff. So it's interesting for me to read, and then you know, you never know. I mean, there's a huge market for Southwest stuff and Indian collectibles, and so the more I can feed my brain, the more knowledge I have, right? So yeah, this is teachers may request free copies, museum education office. So I don't know if these are worth anything. I thought they were pretty cool. Got a bunch of these, a big box full of stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and maybe got some tips for, you know, maybe decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna venture into books and go into book sales and look at the library sales or you know, school sales, stuff like that, because there's a lot of opportunity for you to make money especially with Amazon FBA. And like I said, you just get your phone out there and start scanning the stuff, and you'd be surprised what you find. Again, not just for Amazon FBA, but if you're into books and you like reading them, or you're looking for reference guides for yourself as a treasure hunter or picker. But also too, you know, don't always think, hey, these books can only go to Amazon. No, that's not true. You can do, you know, eBay with them. You can do if you have a flea market, or if you have an antique booth. You know, when I had an antique booth in Illinois, I mean, I sold a lot of books, believe it or not. But you know, that's something I'm going to be doing here in the future, getting an antique booth together. But that's a whole other video, a whole other topic. Again, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Hope you learned some tips. If you did like this video, please just hit the little thumbs up button that's somewhere over here. And if you could also, if this is your first time checking me out, you can just hit subscribe and watch all my videos. There's a boat ton there. You can check me out on Facebook. It's Morning Cup of Joe. You can also visit my website, pickforprofit.com. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.